Welcome to Overkill episode 8. I cannot believe that we're on episode 8 with Overkill. Wow. Special thanks to The Partisan as usual. Thank you for sponsoring us and for letting us come every single week and do our show. And special thanks to the bartendress, Theresa, who is awesome. Strong pour, awesome atmosphere. Come down. Merced on Main. I'm like representing today. I love Merced. Woohoo! Today, I know every week I say I've got a very special guest, but this week I really do. He wasn't going to come on. And you know, it's kind of a recurring theme now. Everybody always says, oh, I'm not going to come on, but I kind of strangle them into coming on. Tom Price, my guest today. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
He is the publisher and the editor-in-chief for Merced's own Downtown Life magazine, which is a wonderful publication, kind of, wouldn't say alternative, but really represents the community and really downtown life, obviously, downtown life. And just, you've done so much for the community just with that one magazine. So very happy that you're here.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, tell me, you're like one of those people, again, that everybody kind of knows who you are. You support the community, everybody knows that, but nobody really knows you.
So
what's your
like
background?
My background, where I'm from.
Yeah. How you ended up in Merced, all that good stuff.
Well, I'm a Valley kid. First of all, I was born in Bakersfield, raised in Visalia. I worked in Porterville, worked in Visalia and Tulare. I bounced all over the Valley. I went to school at Fresno State. So I've kind of experienced the Valley, you know, south to Bakersfield, north to now Merced, and I've kind of migrated as I've gotten older. I've migrated north, but
right on.
Yeah, and I ended up in Merced. I moved here in 2007. I came basically for a job at the Merced Sun-Star.
Did you? Okay, so a writer or
a copy editor?
A copy editor.
I think you had another former Merced Sun-Star copy editor here, Nathan. And,
yes.
I came here in 2007, hired by Joe Kita, who was the editor back then.
Right.
So I worked there for 2 years, and I ended up moving to the sports department for a while. I did copy editing and page design for the sports section.
Cool.
And started the DLM in 2009.
Right on. So you were just sick of being a copy editor. You wanted to do your own stories?
Yeah, well, something like that. I just.
It's like, damn it, I hate being a copy editor.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's funny because I got into the journalism business. More to be, I wanted to be, my dream was to be a sports writer as a kid, and I knew when I was in 6th grade that I was going to work for newspapers. That was my dream.
Were you like newspaper person in 6th, 7th, and 8th or in high school?
Yeah. I grew up reading box scores in newspapers. I'm a big Dodger fan.
Awesome.
And,
were you on like the school newspaper?
Yeah, I was the sports editor at the high school newspaper. Worked at the junior college. I was a sports editor at the junior college newspaper.
Cool.
And, so I just, I kind of always knew I was going to work in newspaper business. Along the way, I kind of taught myself graphic design and some of the stuff that, and what ends up happening is I go to a newspaper, they find out I can design and paginate, so I'm designing pages, and I kept getting shifted in that direction to the point where I eventually I worked as a sports editor, page designer in Porterville, and bounced around at different newspapers, and eventually ended up in Merced.
Okay, awesome. And for those who don't know paginate, that's just a fancy word for laying out the pages, making it look pretty.
What you see in the papers.
Yeah. Which was at that point in time, like a very lucrative skill. I mean,
it's uncommon that you find people that can write and design and do both, and so when you can understand both, it's a helpful tool because as a designer, you kind of have a vision, right? Well, you need to have the content to make it shape into that vision that you have. And so if you can communicate that to writers and communicate that to photographers, it's a really useful tool. And so a lot of times writers and photographers don't really have the end vision in their head. They're just shooting what they see in front of them or writing what they see in front of them, but they don't have the end game in there. But if someone's a paginator who understands what the writer's doing, understands what the photographer's doing, they can communicate that, and the end product can a lot of times be a little bit more attractive.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because, with me, and I'm a writer, with me it's always the headlines. Yeah. I'm like, fuck it, you go ahead and you do the headline.
Yeah.
Like, I just do the headline because I can never ever do.
Yeah.
I can write a story.
It's a skill,
but I can't do a headline.
Yeah, it's a skill for sure.
Yeah.
Nathan's a good headline writer. I don't know if you guys did you guys touch on that?
It's a fun subject. A little bit. Yeah. But I just it's funny. I know this interview is about you, but with the
we should talk about
headline
Nathan
story.
the whole time.
Yeah,
Let's
I know
do
we
that.
should. Nathan.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make you sweat again. No. No. When I worked for a community paper, in like a rural area outside of San Antonio, and it was like bi-weekly publication, that kind of thing. But I never did the headlines, but I was a reporter, and it was like Hurricane Katrina, had come around, and we did this story because this couple in Bernie, which is a very small town outside of San Antonio, they were in New Orleans and they had escaped, like the Katrina thing. Well, their last name was White.
Uh-oh.
And and so the headline was basically, like kind of a hallelujah, White's escape. Hurricane Katrina, and it was like the most heinous, and my name was associated to it, and I was like, motherfucker, never again.
Yeah.
That's when I put my 2 weeks notice in, because I was like, I am not going to show my face around. But anyway, so yes, headline that is totally an art.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the reporters appreciate it if you take that responsibility seriously and don't make a mistake like that.
Yeah, that's how come. Yeah, no, editors can do that. Yeah. So you started the DLM in 2009.
Yeah.
Okay. What made you decide? What made you start that?
Well, I worked at the Sun Star, like I said. So I worked in a newsroom. A large number of the people there were from different parts of California. Sacramento, Chico, San Diego, and I think a lot of people felt like there was a need for culture, and they, and then not necessarily them, but I would hear the Murded talk around town, and I even hate to say that word.
Yeah, me too.
And some point during my tenure there, I moved downtown. So I live in the theater apartments attached to the Merced Theater.
Cool.
Yeah, and so I moved downtown. I saw The Partisan is a great example. I saw J&R Tacos and these business owners really busting their ass to bring something really special and some culture to Merced. And it would infuriate me when I would hear people talk about how there's nothing to do. And part of the problem I realized was there was a void, and there was nowhere, they didn't have a voice to really reach the community. Unfortunately, the Sun Star, the Sun Star is a great newspaper, but they weren't filling that role. They had, they
have a very certain, very specific demographic.
Yeah. And plus, when the newsrooms become smaller, usually arts coverage and things like that are the first.
Just like education.
And it's unfortunate, and it's not necessarily the fault of our folks here locally, but it is what happens.
Right.
And so I saw the void, and I felt like because I had the skills I had, I thought this could be something. I've always wanted to start my own magazine. I started one when I was 19.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay, what was that magazine?
It's kind of embarrassing. It was a slow pitch softball magazine.
Okay.
So I wanted to cover slow pitch softball throughout California. Yeah.
Wow.
So
is that even I didn't even know
that
was a thing.
It really is. There's a man. I knew I should have done this interview.
No, it's all good. It's cool. No.
So I worked for. I was a regional reporter for a magazine called Softball West Monthly. Softball West they're out of Reno, and they cover the whole West Coast.
Okay.
So they would send me to like Lancaster and all these communities to cover.
Quite
Lancaster, you would not know. Lancaster has a Super 8 softball sports complex that is incredible.
Okay.
So I got to cover like D League, which is the equivalent of beer league, slow pitch softball. They take it very seriously.
Which is the equivalent of, that's what RC.
Yeah, I'm on that team.
Okay, you're on the team.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay,
yeah.
Okay, all right.
And so I covered it, and I was like, this is kind of fun. Like, you come out, and I was like 19, 18 years old, whatever. So my grandma and my mom gave me a little money, helped me buy a camera, because I was also taking pictures. We all chipped in a little bit, and they believed in my vision for a slow pitch softball magazine that would cover the Central Valley.
It's because they had no idea what the hell you were talking about. They're just like, we're just going to go ahead and get on the camera.
I sold one ad. I sold one ad to the Visalia Recreation Department.
Good for you.
Yeah. We never printed an issue, so that's unfortunate. So I did sell the one ad.
Did you have to refund the money?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I took a picture of the check because that was really a special check.
So like the bars and stuff have dollar bills, and you have this.
Yeah, I have my check from the Visalia Recreation Department. Yeah. It's not funny. I was really proud of this.
I'm sorry. It is. I'm sorry. It's not funny. It's not funny. But
try being a 19-year-old entrepreneur.
I know exactly. You shouldn't. sad, but at the same time.
And sadly, my
no.
camera was also stolen from one of the softball parks, which ultimately led to the end of everything because it was like,
irony.
yeah.
Aww.
See, it's sad.
That is. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay, but it's funny now.
Yeah, it is kind of.
Because the fact that I thought a softball magazine would work is pretty humorous.
Why wouldn't you? There's a regional softball.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe it.
Yeah. Like, damn, I had no idea.
Yeah.
It's like
and you should see these guys over at Joe Herb. There's some hardcore games going on up there.
Yeah, I've really been thinking about going ever since. Yeah.
I hit a home run on Thursday or Wednesday. I'm sorry.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Okay,
Second of the season.
Yeah, we'll go out.
And there is video of that if you guys want the video. There's someone shot video. I can be happy to provide you the video.
I would love that.
Run.
Yeah. Can you
splice that
Can you
in?
edit that in?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
Cool.
Get on and rest, kid. I'm riding this one out of the park. Oh, yeah? You are Noel. Being a young pal of mine.
All right.
Yeah.
This is your star moment.
Yeah.
So 19 years old, then you had the magazine. I mean, like a lot of, I don't care if you're 42, 43. Sometimes things just don't work out, so it didn't work out.
Yeah.
So then you went to college.
Yeah, all this time I was either in school.
And you always knew you wanted to write. You always knew.
Yeah, I always knew. And I also had the dream of being a baseball player, so I played a little bit of junior college baseball before everything came to an end.
Okay.
Shoulder injury, the old story. So.
Oh no. Okay, so now see.
We don't need to go there.
No. What happened with the shoulder injury?
I was a pitcher. This was my first year at the junior college level. Had some shoulder issues, couldn't go anymore, and basically it came to an end. I wasn't.
Wow, thank God you're smart.
Yeah.
Because you'd have been screwed.
Yeah. I wasn't that smart because I basically dropped out of school for a little bit after that point.
That doesn't make you
not
smart.
Went to work for Kinko's and did all that stuff, but
that makes you. I think that makes you a better person. Like if you're out like in like doing these jobs that you're like, oh, and you look back on, you're like, why the hell did I do that?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it just makes you a better person. It gives you like real life experiences that.
Yeah. No, I have tons of real life experiences.
Have to do.
Yeah.
Sorry. But I think that that's really cool. I think that shapes a person, and that's really cool. So you did that, and then so Kinko's and all this. Wow, see?
Yeah.
Who knew?
Yeah.
Who knew? So you did all this, and then jump forward to 2009. What made you kind of jump ship with
the Sunstar? So basically, I had always had this. Like I said, I always had this dream of owning my own publication. And it honestly came down to one night at this bar, the Partisan. I was sitting in the back corner. I didn't have very many friends here. I had a few from the Sunstar, but beyond that, I was still kind of I'm a pretty shy person in general. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not. I keep to myself a lot, and so one night I was here. I didn't know anybody that owned the park. I didn't know RC or Joey or Tim.
Oh, really? You didn't know? Okay.
No, I didn't know anybody. I just was frequent here because I lived down the street and I like to drink beer every once in a while, so it was a natural fit.
Cool.
I was sitting in the back of the bar and Louis Wolof was playing, which is RC's band, and there was probably like 100 people here, and it was just like it's RC and Joey's band, I should say that, both of them. But it was I just remember it was. First of all, great. If you haven't heard of Louis Wolof,
they're awesome.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
And I just remember I was getting goosebumps just listening to him, and then I saw the way the crowd was reacting to him. It was a very special night, and I just went home that night and I was like, man,
nobody covers this
no
stuff.
one needs to know this is happening. No one seems to know that.
Right.
No one told me about it. No one, and I didn't hear about it anywhere. I just happened to stumble upon it.
Right.
And why don't people know about this? And so I went home. I literally, and this sounds cliche, but on a napkin, I was starting to draw ideas out for what is basically a business model.
That's the best thing.
Yeah.
Epiphanies always come in bars and on cocktail napkins.
Yeah. And so I stayed up all night, and I just kind of put everything in my head and put it on paper. Next morning, I showed it to my girlfriend, and I was like, and I showed it to her, and I said, "Am I crazy?" And she was fully supportive and said, "You're not crazy. This is
awesome.
This is awesome. Let's go for it." So I had some ideas about maybe working at the Sunstar and still trying to do it. That wasn't going to work out,
Right.
And so I just I had a little bit of money saved up, so I said
So you like totally took the plunge.
put in my notice, and then in September of 2009 and October 3rd, 2009, we printed the first issue and launched the magazine.
That's awesome. So you are coming up on your 3-year anniversary.
Yeah.
That is so impressive.
Yeah, I'm proud of it.
That is so cool. What was your favorite issue?
Oh gosh.
Or even top 5. I mean, I know
Okay,
that's hard.
I can give you a few. So one of the most special things we did was we did a piece on Elwood Wolof when they retired, and they played in this city for 10 years. They were a decade strong. The band obviously meant a lot to me because of how the magazine started,
Right.
and Joey and RC eventually became some of my best friends, and so it was like an emotional thing and kind of an important issue for us, and so.
And when was this? What issue was
Oh my gosh, I want to say it was December or January of last year.
Okay.
I don't remember which for sure, but it was December or January last year, and we went the extra mile. I mean, we hired photographers, did a great photo shoot, and did a big blowout story, and they had obviously an amazing show in their final show here at the Partisan. So it was that was one of my favorites. Our next one is going to be a really important issue, I think. It's a new idea. In the past, we've had an issue we call the Next Issue, where before, the concept last year was basically looking at what's going to happen next in downtown Merced. So we looked at events or businesses that are opening.
Right.
I kind of retooled the concept this year to be like, who's the next performer, next band, next community leader, next artist that's going to make a difference in Merced. And so we're looking for people who you may not know their names yet, and we're hoping we're going to introduce you to them. And what's coming out is we have some amazing stories, and I know you're writing one of them, and so Joni, and she's obviously a very special performer.
She's an awesome performer. Yeah, she really is. It's kind of funny. I mean, that's another person that just very quickly kind of coming and going and seeing and that kind of thing, and to be able to talk to her really for the first time, and really get into what she's doing, and she really is, and it's really kind of it is interesting. I mean, it's your 3-year anniversary, really kind of who's the next best thing, who's kind of bringing people together, and it's kind of funny because that's exactly. I know she kind of looked at me like, "Do you have everything?" And it's like, "I've got everything." She kind of is this whole steward, I think, between this whole disconnect between the community and UC Merced, and kind of bringing it together with music, which sounds so cliche. I mean, it's your cocktail napkin. It's very but at the same time, it's very, very true. So,
And that story is repeated in a few of our stories. I mean, one of the other people we're featuring is Josh Franco, who's a political science graduate student who, he's worked in Sacramento and DC, and he's bringing that experience back. He's a PhD student at UC Merced, and he's bought a house in Merced, and he wants to make an impact on this community. And I applaud. I mean, this community needs to hold on to its graduates. And
absolutely.
If anyone remembers the Michelle Obama speech a few years ago she made here, that was kind of the theme of it. Was we need to stay in this community and help build this community and change its identity. And one thing that Josh says, and I'll give him full credit for this, I think it's great, but he talks about, there's this constant talk of Cap in Town and this and that, and he thinks that language kind of furthers the divide. It's like, and the way he put it was, we all drive on G Street, we all breathe this air, this great valley air. We all go to the Mercy Hospital when we need to go to the hospital. We're all in the same boat.
Tomatoes.
So and he articulates it really well, and it's especially exciting to hear that from a UC graduate who's now back and getting graduate. So that was getting graduate degree. So that
and going back to that, because you have interviewed so many people. You've got 3 years worth of interviews under your belt.
Yeah.
Why do you think? What is the person? What is? Is there kind of a prototype, or just somebody that comes back and says, "I'm going to stay. I'm going to," instead of the we're dead, or I'm going to leave. What makes that person?
I don't think we know yet. I don't think, because Merced is in this kind of, it's a phase right now that we have to kind of discover what our identity is going to be. Whether we want to or like it or not, We are a university community now. We have a tremendous junior college as well. We have influences that we need to let them influence our community. Whether you can't really fight it at this point. And I'm not saying that Merced should surrender its history and its identity, but the fact remains that we are a community that's going in a different direction. There's only 10 of us in the state that have a UC in their backyard.
And we're lucky enough to have one. And
Yeah.
I think that we should embrace it. But at the same time, it's kind of funny. I think that, and this is another thing that I spoke to Joni, and Joni's actually going to be my guest next week.
Oh,
Because, it's been male dominated.
Get her to sing for you because she can sing.
Oh, are you kidding?
Oh,
of course.
amazing, right?
Yeah, because you snuck in earlier. He was ducking, and I'm like, what are you doing, dude? Just get in front of the camera. But he brought his guitar in last week, and it was awesome. So, I told Joni.
He hinted that he might raid my interview here today. So
well, I hope that he
Oh,
does.
he is here.
Yeah, he's here.
God.
There it is.
Dang it.
Yep, he's here. Yeah, no. Yeah,
Did you
and
get
there's
your-
his infamous laugh. There we go. But no, I mean, one of the things that she said that I thought was that just was so true was, it doesn't necessarily have to change per se. I mean, it's a wonderful town in the sense that it still has this, kind of, I mean, I hate to say, this is what I always say, and I mean, I know that people kind of look at me like, ooh, you're kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It's not It's a Wonderful Life Bedford Falls. It's kind of in between Bedford Falls and Pottersville, but it's still a really cool small community.
And I think there's just as much responsibility as the community has to take on the identity of a university town. The university has a responsibility to absorb the identity of the community.
The traditional, I mean, I'll tell you what, Ike's Appliances next door, I mean, that's been a mainstay. And I know people walk past it and they're like, why is there an appliance store downtown? But I'll tell you what, when Chente passed away and RC did, all the beautiful pictures and, donate $5, I came over, didn't even know who he was, and just looked at the parquet that was in front. I was like, who is that person? And Dan, the producer of Overkill, he was like, oh, that's Chente. He really made an impact on the community, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sorry, I get a little bit teary-eyed.
Yeah.
And he said, well, here's $5.
Yeah.
I didn't know him, but, if he made this impact, that's the beauty of the community. And I think that, just and Joni really stated it very well, I think today, just stop being so divisive and just kind of accept everybody. I mean, there are people this way, there are people that way. I mean, we saw city council on Monday with the, hookah bar thing, and it's just like, come on guys, just let's try it.
Yeah.
What is the harm of just, kind of trying everything and seeing where it goes, and that's kind of the beauty of it. And that's why I love Merced so much. And that's why I want to stay, because there's just so many possibilities. People always look at the negative, but when you look at it, and that's how come I love you so much, because you look at the positive. You're really, concentrating on, okay, what's going on in downtown. You're bringing light to, businesses, people, places, and even issues that I don't think, like what you said, the traditional news outlets or anything would cover. So,
and it helps. I mean, that I live down here. My office is down here. I literally go weeks without leaving this 3 or 4 block radius, and so I think I can't blame anybody else for not seeing it. I mean, it helps that you're here. I just encourage people to come and be a part of it and participate, because there's plenty here for people to participate in, whatever you like. Whether it's the symphony, they're going to have a show at the theater. There's a great concert tonight, Lydia Pence and the Cold Blood at the Merced Theater. There's amazing things that are going to be happening downtown that are happening for anyone. And so and again, when I say anyone, I mean the whole entire community. There's I'm not talking about one segment or anyone. There's literally something for everyone to do down here.
And for you, I mean, obviously you it's underlying in everything that we've talked about, but for you, just kind of the blatant, why do you stay?
Why do I stay?
Yeah, you're talented. You're you could be anywhere. You could write for a softball magazine in LA. No, I'm kidding.
You laugh, but it's possible. Softball West still exists today. That means they've been around for 15 years.
I'm sorry. Yeah. You're getting defensive.
I can't wait to post this on Softball West's Facebook page. They have more likes on their Facebook page than I do.
Well, they better advertise in the DLM. That's all I gotta say. Hey, you're plugging them.
Awesome.
I know. But no, seriously. I mean, you're all kidding aside. You are very talented. You could go anywhere. Why do you stay in Merced?
There's more potential in this city than I believe anywhere in California.
And why?
I've had great ideas. I've had stupid ideas. I've had ideas that were, but no one's ever told me no. I mean, the magazine was probably a dumb idea. A print magazine in a time when newspapers are folding and magazines are dwindling everywhere. But I had this stupid idea, and no one told me no. I mean, and I don't think you can do that in other communities. And for one, many of these things already exist. Magazines already exist. There's competition. There's this kind of emerging culture in downtown and everywhere in Merced. There's arts, culture, music. Everything is there. It's ready to be had, and there's no one there to get in your way. And I've gotten support from so many people, you guys included. I mean, I've never had anyone be like, "Oh, that's not going to work," or "That's a dumb idea." But I mean, I ran a farmer's market for 2 years. I'm not a farmer. I've never run a market, but I ran a farmer's market, and I had a supportive community behind me to help me do this. And I had volunteers that came out of the woodwork to help me put it on.
Right.
And that doesn't exist everywhere. I tell you, I've lived in Oregon, I've lived in Long Beach, San Diego, Porterville, Visalia. I've lived everywhere, and I've never seen a community that is as I mean, they're positive, and they want to. There's a collection of folks out here that just want to make a difference and will do anything to be a part of something special. And
why do you think that is? I mean, because again, I ask you, and I haven't asked anybody else this, but I think that you really do have a pulse on people and community just because of, with the Downtown Life magazine and just being able to speak to so many different people. Why do you think that is? What makes Merced community different?
I haven't figured it out yet, honestly. But I'm from the minute I moved here, I kind of felt it. And if you've ever had a conversation with Joey and RC, these are lifelong Mercedians, and
there's a passion.
There's something there that I've never seen in another community, and I think they were the first people that I interviewed for the magazine. They were the first cover story for the magazine. And I was nervous when I met them because I hung out here a lot, and I was I didn't know what the heck I was doing in the first issue. And almost instantly when I sat down with them, in the room where it was all three of them, and they were joking with me already. Like, they joked with me like, "Why would you start a magazine right now? It's a terrible idea," But we just jokingly, but we all got along. We kind of instantly kind of had like a same kind of vision for what the DLM could be, and I immediately felt like I was a part of something. And I think I can't really put my finger on what makes that person or why Merced has these kinds of people, but they are, and they're all over the place. I don't know if everyone probably knows Melissa Kelly Ortega.
Of course.
I mean, she's an absolute fireball, and as soon as I met her,
she's the outreach. She was
Merced.
like,
yeah, if you want to,
not building healthy communities. Yeah. I mean, she is outreach for Merced.
If you want to find out what's happening in Merced, go to her Facebook page. I mean, you may not want to ask her, because if you do, she will give you 1,000 questions and she'll find out any answer you want.
Absolutely,
she's amazing. But anyway, from the minute I met her, she got behind the DLM and has really supported it. And it's people like that have just that have made this whole journey really special. And I couldn't do it without all these people. Kasuga is one of them too. I mean, he's
they can't see you wave, Kazoo.
Yeah,
you want to come over here and wave? You want to?
Yeah. Can I do my kazoo pose real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, do the kazoo. You need his glasses.
Yeah.
You need the glasses. We'll put the Overkill right next to you.
But he's a guy he's severely underpaid for everything that he does to help me out. He runs sound for all my shows. We also do shows, by the way, which we haven't talked about yet. But
nope. Yeah.
That's something that we do. And but this guy's always there. Every time I need him, he's there. And I think he's the same way. He's that guy for the Partisan. Anytime they need him to do, I mean, he runs game night, and he does the open mic, and he's one of the most reliable people I've ever met. And he's a transplant like myself, but he's embraced this community and become a part of it. And I'm sure he would tell you the same stories I'm telling you about how great Merced is. Yeah.
He did before he got afternoon drunk.
Yeah.
And then he kind of went off.
Yeah.
but I love you. So yeah, and just, you know, just kind of going, I mean, wrapping up the DLM side of it, but I really do believe it's kind of cool, you know, with this community to where, you know, they're really, I don't know, I mean, the DLM is, I mean, it's arts and culture. It truly is. And I think that you going back to saying, oh, gee, you know, people going, oh, print's dying. It's a piece of art, and every time that you get it, it's really, really cool, and it's, you know, tactile.
That's
and
my
it's
that's my answer
tangible.
to everyone is when they ask me like, why would you do this? I wanted to make it different from the beginning, so it had to be
Beautiful.
different. Otherwise, it doesn't work. So
Yeah.
we did it. It's smaller. It's portable. It's on a matte recycled paper. It's all full color. It's from a really high quality printer.
Yeah.
And I mean everything we do, and
gorgeous.
hopefully the whole mission was to bring high end kind of design and print to businesses who maybe couldn't afford it in a you know, a larger format or a larger magazine. Like, because if I had to do a larger size magazine, we'd have to charge more, and then
Right.
and so I think we hit the number right. I mean, the 5,000 a month and the numbers we hit right off the bat were like the perfect fit for the right time.
Yeah.
We were able to make it affordable for businesses, and it just worked out well.
It did.
Yeah.
I mean, it really, really did. I mean, I look at it, and I really, you know, I really look forward to the issues coming out.
Yeah.
Because it really is, it's pretty.
Yeah.
You know, it's designed well. It's
Yeah.
paginated well.
We have great photographers too.
It's yeah. Plug for Juno Appleseed.
Juno Appleseed.
And you just, you know, you really do, and it's true. I mean, there's an outlet for local advertisers that you're not being, you know, your eyes aren't poked out by a $5,000 ad where you're just like, okay.
Yeah.
And you know, again, you know, I embrace everybody, but that may not be reaching your target demographic.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that not only is it a great alternative for, you know, advertisers in the community, but I just really do. It's pretty. You know, you want to, I mean, it's one of those, it's like the old album covers, you know, of the 70s and 80s. You want to frame, you know, each cover because it's really, really a cool cover. So, you know, kudos to you. And I'm glad that you've, you know, kind of almost resurrected this, you know, dying art of print.
Well, I think, I don't want to go off on I have a big, like I
please
said,
do.
I've been into print. Like, I love the feel of newspapers. That's been my,
the smell.
since I was a little kid, that's always been my thing. And I think the future of print is doing one thing and doing it very well, like a niche publications like the DLM. I think the era of trying to be everything for everybody and having a big fat newspaper is losing its because it almost does have to be a piece of art that you're holding. And I think it's the same thing with like music and CDs. People buy records now.
Right.
They don't buy CDs. And I think it's because
it's
a piece of art
nostalgia.
and there's something you're holding that feels good. And
Right. It's tangible. And truly, I mean, I hate to say it, but it is almost nostalgic in a way now because it's all going away.
Yeah.
And you're just so used to going, you know, on, you know, Huffington Post or but when you get something like that in your hand and it's so beautiful, you're just like, oh, yeah.
And I believe, and I do want to say, I believe newspapers will find a new way to deliver the news. They're going to have to find a new way to deliver it, and it could still be, I'm not saying DLM format, that probably wouldn't work, but I think there's ways to deliver the news in attractive, appealing ways. I know papers who have tried different designs and different tabloid sizes and whatnot. I don't know the answer, but I just think that there's a way to deliver the news in a way
I don't know either.
that'll work. I still believe in the medium, and
I believe in
go
some
away.
of the medium, but it really has to, I mean, there has to be a hitch and a niche. You found yours. I mean, Rolling Stones had theirs forever. I mean, Rolling Stones always been, you know, very weird, you know, just, it was always like an album cover, which that's what was so cool about it. You know, but even they are starting to suffer to where, well, I'm not going to spend, you know, $8 for, because advertisers are going, well, I don't, and that's another thing, you know, going back to just how fortunate we are, I think, as a community to where perhaps maybe we are kind of behind the times, but people appreciate good work and people appreciate, oh, this is working. And
yeah, I don't know that the dealing would work in another community. And like I said, I'm a very, very fortunate person that we kind of landed when we did, and it happened when it did. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if it could work.
And I honestly don't know either.
Yeah.
That's but again,
I think it could. But now, in hindsight, I look at what we've done, and I can think of things that we probably could have done different. Learning. I mean, there's always that, but I think.
But it's different enough, and it's just it brings something to.
Yeah.
It's like I said. I mean, I don't think that there's anything better than having that tangible, just beautiful. Oh, okay. I mean, it's almost like a coffee table, like mini book. That, and I do.
I've talked to people, and I don't want to. I don't like talking about it that much because I don't want to feel like I'm.
No, this is this is self promotion.
Yeah,
it's all good. This is what it's for.
I'll
do it if you don't.
Not my forte really, but I have talked to people who keep them on their coffee table, and there's
we do.
I've been asked do you have the August 2010? I can't find it anywhere. We have everyone except for the August 2010. I had a guy come up and tell me that his kid is like 15 or no 5 or 10 or something. I can't remember. He's a younger kid. He was at recess. And he has another kid who they hang out and they trade DLMs at recess or something like that. I don't know if I believe that, but they were like trading DLMs. They take them in their backpack and they trade them, which I don't fully believe it, but I don't know why they would tell me that otherwise. So
wow,
I hear stories like that all the time, and it makes me
cool.
very happy.
And I hope that it does, because
Yeah.
that's really cool. Yeah. I mean, you're doing something that nobody else is doing, and kudos to you.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, music.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're really big into music. I mean, you have like DLM Presents.
Yeah.
And now, obviously, you can't put that in a publication. I mean, you can, but it's you have been doing a lot of really cool things out of your office.
Yeah.
And streaming and just presenting all of this music that nobody else would know about if not for you. So tell me about that.
Well, it really all comes again back to that night in the Partisan. I've never really I didn't grow up being into music, so I was the jock guy, if there is a guy that you would identify me as. I was
sports writer.
Yeah, I was a jock sports writer guy, and it wasn't until I moved to Merced, and like I said, I didn't have very many friends. I was still kind of feeling my way around the community. I started listening to music, and it was inspired largely by what I was hearing at the Partisan and kind of the and the stuff that was happening here, and I just somewhere it became an obsession. So it became quickly more, and then when the magazine started, it was it took it into kind of overdrive,
right?
And so and then I became friends with RC and Joey, and I would talk to them about shows and kind of learned how they book and how they do things. And there's a great history of all ages music in Merced, but it was kind of dormant at this point.
Right.
And I remember I talked to RC. I asked him. I said, "What do you think if I kind of like took the torch and like we do our shows on Friday nights, you do your shows Saturday nights. Ours are all ages. Yours are 21 over at a bar. Let's and maybe you can help me out." And both he and Joey and Kazoo and all kinds of people around here have helped me, because I had to feel my way through it. I still don't fully understand what I'm doing. I just I prefer to do stuff rather than wait for someone else to, or wait to figure it out. I'll try it and see what happens. We've had great shows, 100 people, 150 people. We've had shows with 2 people, one of them being just a really drunk guy that kind of stumbled in. So I mean, we've had our fair share of both, which I think anyone who does shows can tell you that.
Absolutely.
So our first show was actually at Gottschalk Music in the back room that they had there.
Really?
Not many people know that because there wasn't that many people there.
Yeah.
It was we had Elwil Wolof play and Deriva.
Really?
So two local established bands.
Absolutely.
They kind of did it. I'm pretty sure it was out of the kindness of their heart, because I was able to pay them all of $35 to play that show. But it was a very special night for me. I mean, we had like 30, 40 people show up, which was great.
That's great.
And but it was kind of the beginning, and I had the bug after that, And so I just kind of we did them there for a while until they couldn't host it anymore. So then we did shows at Red Sky Comics for a while, which I don't know if we did 4 or 5 shows over there. And Michael over there is just a really cool dude.
Yeah.
He kind of just helped us out, gave us the space, and let us kind of do our thing. And we had some great shows over there. And then we found a home at the Black Box Theater, which was in the rear of Playhouse Merced. But then that got closed down,
right.
and as the Q Spot expanded, which is awesome.
Right.
And so we kind of needed a new home, and we landed at the Art Center, and we started doing shows at the Art Center. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. And how did you end up with the Art Center? Because that's really, really, you know, I mean, obviously what you're doing is art. It's a different kind of, you know, I mean, art and culture. How did you end up there?
Well, I mean, for one, Joey, who's also known as the Partisan, is turning into a partisan show, but like he works at the Art Center, and so he and I had some preliminary discussions a while back, and then last year during the Art Center kind of had a little crisis period, and they did some fundraiser. Right. They had the Arts 24 fundraiser that was kind of spearheaded by Jana over at Jana Tacos.
Right.
And
awesome chick.
Yeah, she's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so we got closer to the Art Center, then I started talking to them more, and then I kind of thought, well, maybe there's some way we can work out a deal where we can do our shows and kind of co-present shows, and that's exactly what ended up happening. We kind of worked together.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You brought some really, I mean, I hate to say it, but I think that you brought some very positive attention to the Art Center.
I hope so. Yeah.
No, you have.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that you've brought attention to, you know, a very cool facility that I don't think many people would have known about.
Not enough people know about it.
Prior to you bringing acts in and going, oh, this is local art.
Yeah.
This is local, you know. So
yeah, it's a sad thing. I mean, it's really, it should be an anchor for downtown. It should be something that people. I mean, right now there's Karen LeCoq has an amazing show there.
She does.
Oh man, if you haven't seen her artwork, it's ridiculous. And we have a show there October 12th. It's Matt Bauer and Garrett Pierce. Matt Bauer is coming from Brooklyn, New York, and awesome. Garrett I think is from the Bay Area. So we're bringing some. We're going to pair up some local artists probably with them too. So they'll have. And we're calling those gallery shows. So they're going to be like really intimate show inside the art gallery, as opposed to in their theater room, and we're going to just kind of keep it really...
That's great.
Yeah.
Now, where can people get more information about that?
DLM.com. There's on the rail. There's the link to the Facebook event, and you can buy tickets. You can buy tickets and do everything online. So obviously, please visit that.
That's awesome.
The DLM.com will have any information about anything we talk about. You can get it at thedlm.com.
Thedlm.com.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So what would you, in closing, what would you like to see happen in Merced the next year, next 5 years?
Oh, wow. It's a huge question.
I know it is.
You know, I started the magazine kind of with the idea that we would kind of grow with downtown, grow with community. There's one, and I don't want to open up a huge discussion about this, but there's one thing that we need in this community, and in fact, I was talking to some folks about it this morning, is that we need to make availability of downtown to the college students a little easier.
Yes.
A shuttle or something along those lines would be great to see. I think if we can shorten that distance between the two, it'd be great for the downtown business owners. It would be great for the students. But honestly, I really hope that people engage themselves in what's happening downtown and want to participate. I hope the word Merded is never spoken here again after today. So anyone who listens to this, I don't ever want to hear you say that word again.
Good. You hear that?
Yeah.
Don't say it around Tom.
Yeah. I'm a dangerous person. So, and I think and like tonight's a great example. I mean, there's
how much is going on tonight?
I can tell you right now. There's a concert. Moon Trent's playing at Make It Happen.
Yep.
You got Lydia Pence and Nicole Blood at the theater. Partisan's got a concert here tomorrow night.
And they've got a toga party tonight.
Yeah. There's endless possibilities of what do we want to do, you know. And I know there's a dance group from the East Coast or from Southern California. I can't remember where they're from, but they're coming to the theater.
Yep.
There's all these great events that are coming for, like I said, for anybody. And it's a shame. It's a shame on you if you don't come and at least test the waters and realize and take a look at what you're missing, because there's some amazing stuff happening here.
It's awesome. And you are amazing. Yeah, don't shake your head. You are amazing, and yeah, thank you so much for everything that you do for Merced, and just you are the advocate that everybody knows you and everybody just respects you, and if you don't know him, now you know him, and thank you for being such a champion for Merced. Appreciate it. Yeah, awesome. Kazoo, come on here. Okay, crash it. What? Video bomb. Video bomb. All right. So we always do a cheers at the end. Cheers. Awesome. Thank you, Tom, so much for coming on. Appreciate it. Awesome. You can find us on www.effit.com, or you can download us on iTunes. Just search for Effit. We're there. Awesome. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you. Yeah.
Great.